Welcome to the Cultivation Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Hamill, and we are going to talk about really an incredible topic. The title of the show is Going into Uncharted Territory, right? Reaching new heights, new levels, going to places that maybe we never thought we could reach or achieve or get to before. So let's get into it. What would happen if, or what would it look like if all of our dreams came true, or 50% of our dreams, or 25%, or 10% of our dreams came true? A lot of times, those dreams that we have, maybe in our imagination or in our consciousness or subconsciousness, right? Those things, they really, I talk about this a little bit, they really become more of a nightmare because they plague us as something that's unobtainable or unachievable. But part of living this cultivated journey, cultivated life is awakening to the possibilities, awakening to the opportunities that we can go after, that identity of the person we can become and who we're becoming, and going forward by taking action, right? So, what does it look like when we start pursuing our dreams? What does it look like when some of our dreams start becoming true? This whole season, season 4, for me, is a dream come true. So let me just tell you, give you some background. Obviously, maybe you're tired of hearing about it, but this is my baby and I'm super proud, super hyped about it. But the book, The Life You're Meant to Lead, it's my first book. It might be my only book. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far down my dream list yet. But here's the thing. In 2009, I laid awake in my bed on the very first generation iPad. I had that thing. Is amazing. I opened up the app Pages on my, actually I don't even think Pages existed. It was just the notepad. I later transcribed that over to Pages, but on the notepad, and I mapped out what would the topics of a book be if I were to write a book. So that happened in 2009. Now, that's when I put it down on page. I got to tell you, the idea or the dream of a book really started to be planted and germinate even before that. But I finally, in 2009, took the action step of writing out what would the chapters look like or what would the topics be. And I just kind of had a rough outline. Now, fast forward all the way to 2019, and I left that book on the shelf, so to speak. I didn't do anything with it. Now, I was growing as a person, I was reading, and I was awakening things within me, but I kind of hit a line where it says, hey, Tom, it's time to take action. And as a part of that, this podcast was birthed, right? We're now in season 4. We're at the 1-year mark. We've got a few hundred listeners, followers, subscribers, that sort of thing. Maybe that's an obsolete number, hopefully, by the time you're listening or watching this. But it stayed on the bookshelf of my mind and heart, and I never took action towards it. 2019, I said, this is the year to take action. We're going to get this done. And we started working on it. I surrounded myself with a team of people. We started working on that dream. Now here we are, 2020, and the dream is alive and a reality, and you're just like, wow, I actually did this thing. Now let me just tell you about that one dream that I've been sitting on for a decade. A decade. I sat on that dream. But there was something that happened in my own heart and life that I want to bring to you today. That when I took action towards that dream, when I took action towards that possibility, there was something else that happened that was unexpected for me, and I have found that to be true in a lot of areas but couldn't articulate it, that I hopefully will walk you through today. And that's this. That when we start to pursue our dreams, or when we start to take action towards those dreams actually give birth to new dreams. Things that never would have been on my radar, things that I never would have thought were possible, things that I didn't even think I could achieve or do, start becoming possible, or realizing I'm capable of doing that. So the action step I took towards writing this book actually gave birth to having this podcast, which gave birth to having the website and these resources. And so that's just one small area that I have as a personal example. There's lots of others, but I don't want to bore you with all of those things. But the idea is that when we start taking action, we go into this uncharted territory of, you know what, that's not going to just be a pipe dream. That's not just going to be a one day, what if, could be possibility. When you start taking action steps towards those dreams and who you want to be and where you want to contribute to society, those dreams start giving birth to new dreams and new possibilities and things you didn't even consider before. And you get into this whole new space and this whole new place as a person of what you are capable of. And let me just tell you this right now. I know this to be true of me, not because of an arrogance or a pride, but because of other people seeing this in me. And I know this to be true of others because of what I've seen in others. And I know this to be true of you because it's true of all of us. We are capable of so much more than we think we are. We're capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. And we don't really even start seeing the potential and the possibilities that are laying dormant in us until we start taking action towards one dream, towards one possibility. And then it opens us up. It opens us up to all these other possibilities. Look, I got hyped. I just banged the microphone there just trying to express this because I talk with my hands. If you're listening on the radio, I almost said watching on the radio, but not on the radio. The podcast, if you're doing the audio version, you're like, what just happened? I'm getting the Italian side of me. I'm not really Italian, but side of me that is talking with my hands here. Here's the thing. We're capable of more. And when I took action towards writing this book, it awakened the possibility of a podcast show, awakened the possibility of a website, awakened the possibility of other curriculum and other tools and other coaching resources that we're working on and putting together. And they're coming. And it all happened because I took action towards one dream. What dream do you need to take action towards? What possibility do you need to take action towards? And keep your heart and mind open to be awakened to new possibilities and new dreams and new opportunities that you hadn't even considered before, or someone else hadn't come alongside and go, you know what would be great for you to do, or what you could possibly bring, or what you could possibly contribute as you pursue that business. And you go, you know what, as I'm pursuing this business, now this other possibility, I'm now mapped out really this kind of corporate possibility things. If we want to start a nonprofit organization that helps feed or funnel or procure funding and generosity of other people towards incredible things, like we've talked about this as a family unit because I've got my wife and my kids involved, where we're going, hey, we can provide clean drinking water, and we could provide education, and we could provide healthcare access, and we could do that through a nonprofit, and we can bring other people who really want to be generous like we want to be, that as we're surrounding ourselves with people and our identity is attractive to other people, right? And say, hey, we want to start this. I would have never thought of starting my own nonprofit if it wasn't that we're going to start Cultivation Media Group. Well, what do you want to do with that? And why do you do that? What's the core reason behind that? You know what? We want to contribute to society. We want to contribute to people's lives. And so the Cultivation Podcast, the book, that's one avenue of our contribution. But we haven't stopped there because it's awakened us to new dreams and new places where we can contribute to the world and to people and to humanity. And it's the identity that we're mapping for ourselves. But we wouldn't have gotten there. We wouldn't have just leaped to that without first taking the small action steps towards one dream that gave birth to many dreams, right? But when it comes to pursuing dreams, maybe I'm the only one. I don't think so. Aren't they terrifying? The what ifs and the how comes and the how to's and the resources and all of the things. Like this adventure of the book, it's cost money, it took investment, it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of brain power. I've experienced every emotion and insecurity you can imagine. Can you imagine, am I good enough? Is this good enough? Will people buy this? There's all kinds of things. Will they find it valuable? All those things, you just kind of rack your mind. And ultimately, just the other day, as we're hitting the the print button, if you will, or the publish button as we're hitting the send button on those copies of the book, I realized that what we're really afraid of, what I'm afraid of, because I don't necessarily want to project this on you, but I've had enough conversations that this is a common thread. We're not really afraid of failure, but we're afraid of what would success look like. What would I have to walk away from? What would I have to give up? What would I have to abandon if I was really successful? What if that business adventure that you're dreaming about was successful and you had to quit your job or your current job, right? What if that dream that you have really took off and made a difference in people's lives? How would that change you? And it's the uncertainty of success that terrifies us and prevents us from dreaming about new possibilities, and that we really need to identify and put our finger on that. The thing that's holding me back isn't the fear of failure. I actually expect to fail. Actually, failure is more common than success in my life, right? That I've tried all kinds of things that didn't work out or pan out or just kind of fizzled out for whatever reason. And so failure, I'm actually way more comfortable with and familiar with than success. And you realize, what if I wrote that song and people liked it? Would they expect me to be good at another song? Would they expect me to be good at another thing? What if I can't do that? And so we actually get more afraid of our success than we are of our failure. And maybe because we discredit ourselves, we expect to fail before we expect to succeed. And failure, you've heard me talk about it back, I think it was at episode 4 or 5 where we talked about the failure loop. Could have been 3. You can look up the show list if you will. But a few weeks ago, we talked about the failure loop is a key ingredient or the DNA of success. So failure is a part of it. But when it comes right down to it, when we're walking into this uncharted territory of pursuing our dreams and awakening our vision, our identity, and who we are, that we're really more afraid of our success. What if you tried something and it worked? What then? What would people think of you? What would your friends think of you? What would the people you had to let go of to pursue this? What about your work ethic and habit? Like, to do this podcast, it's a grind. I have to come in, I check in, I clock in, if you will. I view this as another job because you, the audience, matters, and I want to give you my best, that sort of thing. And so I have to give up things in my life to do this. I'm not saying that as a complaint. I'm just saying, what if it's successful and I have to let go of other things? And so the fear of success tends to hold us back as we're walking into uncharted territory. But here's the thing. Uncharted territory, pursuing our dreams, is a path that we've never walked before, right? It's an uncharted path. There's no trail that's been blazed in front of us when we're pursuing dreams that other people haven't pursued. And we can get resources and tools and that sort of thing. But when we've awakened to that identity, when we've awakened to that person that we're meant to be, that it's our purpose, it's our destiny, it's the person that we're becoming to. It's much like Doc Brown says to Marty in Back to the Future, one of my all-time favorite trilogies, not as much as Star Wars, if I'm being honest, but Back to the Future, love it, it's great. One day soon, we'll have hoverboards, even if 2015 passed and we didn't get them. If you've seen the movie, you get that reference. But what does he say right at the end of, I almost said episode 1, but movie number 1, Back to the Future 1, he says, roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. And when we pursue our dreams, when we pursue the possibilities, when we pursue our identities, we are going where there are no roads. And the truth of the matter is, very few people have taken this journey that you're on of awakening to the person identity that you're supposed to be. That's what the cultivated journey is all about, right? And sometimes pursuing those dreams means we're on a road where there is no road. The trail isn't marked yet, and we're blazing a new trail. Or in the words of Captain Kirk from Star Trek, we're boldly going where no one has gone before. Here's the thing about pursuing dreams. Most people are paralyzed by fear of success or fear of failure, lack of resources, or lack of a mind shift and a change. And so they're paralyzed and they're not doing it. But you and I, We've signed up to do the hard things. We've signed up to overcome those obstacles. We're in this together. We're on this journey together. The destination may look different for all of us because my identity is not your identity. Your identity is not somebody else's identity, but we're all on this same road of saying we're going to be an awakened person to become and intentionally invest in the person we want to become. And there is no road to leading to that, right? There is no trail. There is no path. We're in uncharted territory as we take this journey, and we're allowing ourselves to let action steps towards our dreams to awaken new dreams that we haven't even contemplated or considered before. Hey, I'm so pumped about this. You're getting a glimpse into the heart of Tom and the why and the mission and the purpose behind all of these things when we talk about this topic right here. It's so incredible. Again, all of this stuff is bonus material that I didn't get to put in the book because I didn't want it to be too long or too lengthy or too much of a read, that sort of thing. But the life you're meant to lead, the dreams you're meant to awaken, you can pick that up. You can get that from our website, ourcultivatedlives.com, where we have that, other episodes, other seasons, other resources and recommendations there for you. It's kind of your one-stop shop for all of these kinds of things, and we're constantly adding new stuff, so check it regularly. Also, look us up on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, those kinds of things where we'd love to interact with you. We'd love to hear about your dreams and how you're pursuing them and how we can serve you, the audience. And finally, we would love for you to share this episode. Send it out, tweet it out, text it out, that sort of thing, as we are multiplying our audience, and we want to get this message out to as many people as possible through you, our listeners, as we journey together in the cultivated life. Thanks for checking us out today. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the incredible content we have coming out. Also, we'd love to hear from you in the comment section. We read those, we respond to those as we journey together in the cultivated life.